The Scorpio moon, where to begin? I have this natal placement alongside 5 other planets in Scorpio, and my father also has a Scorpio moon. So a lot of this information is based on both research and actual experience. In essence, it's a challenging placement to have. The moon is emotions, feelings, thoughts, and Scorpio is a sign of depth. It's a sign of transformation, death and rebirth. Having to go to the emotional depths with every single feeling to purge them and transform them. It can be an exhausting process. That's why this sign needs so much isolation, regeneration, silence and solitude. It can be a sign of extremes, with a big interest in power, both personal, power of the self, and often that can be projected into power over others. It's not so much the Scorpio itself as a dark sign, darker than any other sign. However, the spectrum of emotions that Scorpio can experience is vast, and each emotion is experienced to its full magnitude. Therefore, if a Scorpio is experiencing a desire, a passion, a jealousy, or any of the traits that we are normally referred to as having, because it's experienced in such a penetrating, profound way, it will often seem worse than anyone else. This can be used for good or for bad. Getting a handle of these energies is key. The important thing about Scorpio is there is always an awareness behind the motive, whether that be the motive of yourself or often the motive of other people, maybe even before they've realized it themselves. And this can be a source of conflict, both within the personal psyche, of having to make a choice between what is right and wrong based on our own constructs of our personality, our beliefs, our upbringing, but also understanding the motives of another person and having to recognize that that individual may not have an understanding as to why they're doing those things, and to not take it personally, but to feel things so very deeply on a level that other people cannot even comprehend. It's a challenge. It can bring great power, but with great power comes great responsibility. Scorpio is often called a psychic sign because it feels things through the senses. It often feels things that cannot be described by language, and this can manifest as strong, powerful emotions such as anger or ecstasy or just a general overwhelm that the native might not be able to break down and fully understand, or to be able to have a dialogue with another person as to what's going on within. This is where it becomes quite important for the Scorpionic energy. Know thyself. And often there is mistrust with this energy because it can be quite difficult to know yourself when you are in a constant state of transformation. It's not just mistrust of the self, it's mistrust of others as we project onto our world, which makes both our heaven and our hell. So the journey to know thyself is a very important one for the Scorpio moon. To both be comfortable with holding on and letting go, and that process of the seasonal change that happens in everything in life, but more so for the Scorpio, an understanding that we have to give with all of what we have for something to grow, but at the same time we have to be able to release that so that it does not control us or control anybody else, because ultimately that takes the power away. Remember, Scorpio, power is always in the hidden place. It is where you last choose to look. And often that is a journey within, to find an intrinsic power. Scorpio is not in its fall, as far as I'm concerned. Scorpio just needs to remember why it's here and what its ultimate purpose is. To have the internal volume of emotions so loud, to have the choice of that experience, shows an individual who came here to fully understand their experience, to have complete awareness over all of their choices, so that the lessons that they learn won't go past them unnoticed. And for the Scorpio moon, there will be a lot of lessons. And ultimately the choice is that of, do I become my pain, or can I rise above it? Can I go beyond the Scorpio to the Phoenix? Can I look at what happens to me and observe, and allow that to transmute me to a higher plane? Or do I wish to stay on the belly of the underworld and entertain my desires, me being the construct of my personality rather than my awareness? And this is the challenge for the Scorpio moon.